Hey, it's another library book review, this time Thinner by Richard Bachman, aka Stephen King. I actually listened to this one, so I don't have the physical book. I downloaded it on my phone from Google Play and listened to it over the course of several days. Pretty good. I will start with a uh, basic review, and then towards the end, I'll get into spoilers. So if you want to kind of know thoughts about the ending, stick around, and I will make sure to disclaim that. I'll try not to talk about anything really beyond the first chapter or the summary that you might read. So, how does it start? Well, it kind of opens with a guy who has a problem with weight, and it kind of starts, a little bit into the story and flashes back. But basically, he's got some problems, with his weight, and like everybody, kind of dealing with that. But he recently had a run-in with a gypsy and got cursed with a single word, thinner, and he has started losing weight, and he can't really account for that by just diet change, because no diet change and no exercise change. And he's like, maybe it's stress, maybe it's something, and it quickly becomes apparent to him, at least, that he thinks it's based on this curse or whatever. So the plot's pretty good. It follows him as he tries to figure this out and really come to terms with it and track down, did this affect anyone else? What are the long-term impacts of this? And eventually starts looking for a way to get rid of it, as you might expect. I felt like the plot followed very, logical for the universe, at least. Once you get past kind of the idea of a curse actually doing this to somebody, if how would you go about dealing with that? What would you be looking for? Who would you talk to? What decisions would you make? All of this stuff basically made sense from my perspective. So I never felt like they're going off doing things that no one would ever do. It all kind of played out. You could see yourself maybe making a lot of these same decisions. As far as characters go, I appreciated that it wasn't too many. Some books can have so many characters that you're trying to remember who's who and what was their role, how did that tie in. They disappear for a few chapters and they come back and you try to remember who they were. Were they the cousin of the person and stuff? This one, pretty simple. There's maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 major characters and a couple other ancillary characters that you can keep up with pretty well. So I like that aspect of it. Pretty straightforward. They don't make a lot of assumptions there. As far as supernatural elements go, Stephen King or Richard Bachman can be prone to kind of, there's always a little bit of something there. This one, there's really not too many things beyond the curse itself. Everything else is pretty standard. There's not a lot of crazy twists and turns that come from that. And as far as how scary is it, I would say it's not, like, it wasn't obvious how it was going to end real early. I was genuinely concerned for the main character as he was going through this, trying to figure out how is this going to get resolved? Is he ever going to do it? Like, what's going to happen? How bad is this going to get? What's the resolution going to be? And pretty good. I would say that if you have the book, try to skip the table of contents because there are some minor, I'll say, spoilery things if you read into it. In the spoiler section of this, I'll go into that a little bit more, but I would say you may want to avoid the table of contents just so you don't know too much about what's happening, and I won't say more than that. But overall, pretty good. I enjoyed it. Moved along at a good pace. I'd recommend it for anybody who likes Stephen King because it had a bigger host of characters than, say, Misery or something like that, where it's a very, very small number of characters. Had just enough characters to make it interesting, and I thought the audiobook version went very well. The narrator actually played one of the characters in the movie adaptation from the mid-90s, I believe. But I always think of him as the guy who plays Fat Tony on The Simpsons. Joe Manteiga, I believe, is how you say it. And so it works pretty well. It took a little while to not hear just Fat Tony talking, especially the first couple of chapters, but you kind of get past that, and very well works. And his role as a mobster, he's got that kind of somewhat stereotypical mobster voice that you might expect. It works pretty well for the book for a few reasons, but we'll get into the spoiler section for that. Overall, I'd recommend it. The audiobook was just about 11 hours long, just under, and went by pretty quick. So nice for listening to. Chapters can be kind of long, but they're overall pretty good. So we will get into the spoiler section now. So I will be talking about things from the end of the book. So if you don't want to know how it ends, you should stop watching this. And yeah, the chapter titles. I was trying to look and see how much longer I had, and it saw chapter titles, and the chapter titles follow this thing of numbers going down, and it's his weight basically going down. And then I saw towards the end of the book, the numbers started going back up, and I was like, well, obviously the curse gets broken or something happens like that, and so I guess it all gets resolved. Well, if you read the end of the book, it doesn't quite turn out that way. The ending is a little ambiguous. I don't love that, but I kind of like it where it doesn't spell out everything for you, but I kind of wish you knew the ending. Or I wish it went into a little bit more detail. There's definitely there's another chapter or two that could be written for sure. The ending, basically, he meets the gypsy, and the gypsy says, I can't actually destroy the curse, but we could transfer it to someone else, and we'll use a pie to do that. So put some of your blood in the pie, and that will move the evil spirit of the curse into the pie. So it gets a little weird supernaturally there, but Stephen King does stuff like that, or at least Richard Bachman does, and it's that kind of macabre humor that I guess Richard Bachman is able to do that maybe Stephen King doesn't. But in general, it's weird, but I kind of like how it ended. I liked how the evil doesn't really ever go away. You can only transfer. And I thought it was telling to say that basically he spends the whole book getting madder and madder at his wife because he feels like she was really the reason why it happened, for reasons that I don't need to go into here. But he spends the time really blaming her. And so at the end, he tries to kind of get back at her. And he spends most of the book also saying, like, it's really his daughter that he wants to, because he's angry at his wife, his daughter's really the only reason he has left to live. And so the book ends with him intentionally giving the pie to his wife and then going to bed and waking up and realizing his daughter came home unexpectedly and also had some of the pie. And that's where this cruel irony of it comes in. And I felt like the ending where he's like, yes, I killed my wife, or I started I put the evil, I gave her the evil part of, the curse, and so she will now die. But because it hurt my daughter, that literally destroys every reason I have to live, and so I am just going to have the pie myself. And so he cuts himself a slice. It made it sound like once the pie had been eaten, the evil would be moved on. And so I was thinking, well, but would it really kill him? Because I thought all the evil left when maybe the first slice. And So I kind of would have liked it to see, like, it could have been even a double twist if maybe he had eaten the pie. Maybe he got it back because he was the original person, but like maybe nothing ever happened to his daughter. Something like that, where it's like, oh, actually, you would have been okay if you hadn't done it. And it could have done kind of a double twist ending there. But I felt like it was good. I really liked I really liked how it it kind of hurts at the end where you're feeling bad for him because he didn't really win. He almost won, but then if he hadn't been so selfish and been so dead set on hurting someone, he might have been okay. But there was really no good resolution because somebody else was going to have to die because the evil had to be given to someone, and instead if it wasn't, it was going to come back to him, and then it ended up coming back to him, and then he wiped out his whole family. And so I don't know, it's one of those kind of sad endings that that Stephen King can be known for. Or again, maybe this is the Richard Bachman part of him coming out that can really be that rainy day writer that he's known for. So overall, though, I would recommend it. And say that it's like I really liked it. Again, it felt like it moved along very well. I wish that I wish I had maybe seen a little bit more. I would have liked maybe one more chapter that revealed a little bit more about what happened or gave some sense of what it was. Of he had the pie, and then maybe there was a prologue where it's 2 weeks later and this is what's happening, and he can't believe they're going through this, and he does something to try to, I don't know about make it right, but apologize to his daughter or something. And I don't know it feels like there could easily be another chapter in there that would help resolve it a little bit more. I am curious what the evil would be that would come to his wife and to his daughter. It's kind of one of those great unanswered questions, but I guess we'll never know. So yeah, Thinner. Check it out if you can. Buy the audiobook. It's a good listen. And thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of the book down below. Try not to put too many spoilers in there. I know it's an old book, but you never know who might be wanting to read it. So have a good one.